What is up? I am doing a mono blue Tron deck list. You guys have been watching, and I figured you guys want to know how the deck works and all the interiors and everything else. So, if you've ever played a Tron list before, your ultimate goal is to assemble one Urza's Tower, one Urza's Power Plant, one Urza's Mine on the battlefield at once. And if you do that successfully, you get 7 mana for it. Your mine produces 2, your power plant produces 2, and your tower produces 3. So I'm playing a mono blue version of it versus the rug version of it, whereas I'm trying to be more control-y versus more combo-esque, I would say, where you're trying to get Tron online as fast as possible, resolve a huge threat, and dirtle them to death. Well, I play 12 of the Urza lands, I play 4 of each, and then I play 10 islands. Something weird is that I do play 3 Seed of the Synods. I've seen a lot of mono black, and having an artifact land that you can ditch if you get flooded to a wrench mind, or just having that as an option to play all your lands untapped versus like Lonely Sandbars is huge. Just overall great. You can search it out with Trinket Mage. You can search out your expedition map, your one of Chromatic Star for the sideboard tech that I'll get to later. But I'm trying to be a mono blue control list at its finest. I'm trying to counter your spells, prevent you from winning the game, and have inevitability on my side. I can repeal your threats, condescend your threats, and mana leak your threats. That's the only 12 answers I have, and if you play a creature, I can play bigger. Unless you play Ulamogs Crushers, then we just stare at each other, or we just trade, depending on who attacks first. So my counter suite is going to be 4 Condescends, which is a X spell where you pay X, and they have their spell countered unless they pay X, and then you get a scry too. If they don't counter it and they simply pay the X, you still get a scry, which is really nice. Also playing Mana Leaks. The Mana Leaks is 1 in a blue, and it's counter target spell unless its controller pays 3. I know these are both soft permission spells, but I simply can't afford to have a double blue spell in the list. I used to play counter spells back in its first conception of the deck. It was alright sometimes, but it was terrible a lot more. So, against any weenie deck, I play Repeals, which is return target non-land permanent with converted mana cost X to its owner's hand, draw a card. It's another X spell. I plan on going big or going home. They're 4 playable in Modern, so I don't know why they wouldn't be playable in Pauper. You simply just pump out tons of mana, and you can return pretty much any permanent they play to their hand. You could return an Emrakul to their hand if it didn't have protection from colored spells. I'm playing one of Chromatic Star, just as an 8th trinket that I could search up with Trinket Mage, another artifact that I can literally keep in my hand in mono black matchups and just discard it against Wrench Mine post board. And then I'm also playing Expedition maps. This is pretty much the heart of the deck. You play your Expedition map to get your Tron pieces, and then you get to assemble Tron really quickly. Most games I get turn 4 Tron. Some games I assess where I need to be more of the controller role, and I won't assemble Tron until turn 5 or 6, but every game I play this deck, I have Tron on, and every time I get Tron on, it's usually a win, or it's just a really close, really good game. For draw spells, I'm playing Think Twice. It's pretty much like well, it's nothing like Jace's Ingenuity. It's just a really good draw spell. I could be playing Inspirations in the 4-drop spot, since I don't have anything there, but it's something that's easy to commit, just a little bit of mana to draw a card at a time, just if you need to hit a land drop during your main phase and all you want to do is tap a mine and a prism versus tapping, you know, like double island or a tower and a prism. You don't want to commit too much mana to one thing just to draw a few cards, and I definitely don't want to be doing it during my main phase, so I couldn't play Divination. We also play Prophetic Prism. We need those blue sources, and we need them pretty much now. It'd be nice if Trinket Mage could search them out. I was actually thinking about trying Spheres and Stars, just having trinkets that your Trinket Mage can tutor up for, but I'd hate to be more of a mono blue control deck, and then I'd probably want more like just straight counter spells if I could hit double blue easy. So I decided to just play the Prisms. You draw a card, they have synergy with Ghostly Flicker, and you just get really great mana fixing, and usually if your opponent wastes a destroy artifact spell on it, it doesn't mess up anything too much because your Trinket Mage can just search out a blue source in the seat of the Synod. So moving on to the Trinket Mage, which is silently probably the best card in the deck. It gets your seats, it gets your expedition maps, it gets your Chromatic Star. It has so much utility in the deck. It's probably the reason why this deck works, and it's probably the reason why blue-black trinkets work. Just overall, huge player in the deck. You get all your trinkets, plus you can Ghostly Flicker it to just thin your deck. You can just do so much and just make your draws more potent, and get that inevitability going versus just, oh, I drew another land. Oh, I drew another land. I could just Trinket Mage, grab Expedition Map, tap a tower, Expedition Map, tap it, play the tower, and really have effectively only used 3 mana and produced 3 more mana. Another card in the deck is Ghostly Flicker. Ghostly Flicker is pretty good. If you go Trinket Mage on 3 and you have Tron on 4 with a Prophetic Prism out, you can actually play Ghostly Flicker and then evoke a Muldrifter, and then flicker the Muldrifter and the Trinket Mage to essentially draw a million cards. You'd draw 5 cards, essentially. You would flicker, or you'd evoke Muldrifter, and you could let it resolve first, but you don't want to. You want to actually resolve your Trinket Mage flicker first, so you thin your deck and draw the 4 better cards versus drawing 4 cards, or 2 cards, flickering your Trinket Mage, thinning your deck, and then drawing 2 more cards. It goes on the stack, and Magic the Gathering stacks are first in, last out, so as long as you put Trinket Mage on the stack last, it resolves first. Muldrifter is a win condition, it is a draw spell, it is a beater, it is amazing. It's pretty much the whole reason why I decided to make this mono blue, is like, all you need is Muldrifters, all you need is Ulamogs Crushers. Even in the Rug matchup, you can just keep attacking them with Crusher until they don't have any more permanents to sack, and regardless of their life total, you're going to win. If they don't draw an answer to the Crusher, or if they try to burn you out with the Rolling Thunder, you have counter spells. You just, as long as they don't get more mana than you, you just win. Post-board, it gets a little crazy. I usually side in another Ghostly Flicker because they try to blow up your lands, and in any deck that's playing red or anything like that, I'll side in a Ghostly Flicker just to flicker your lands to dodge removal spells, essentially. And then the win condition of the deck is Ulamogs Crusher. It has Annihilator 2, which simply states that when it attacks, your opponent has to sacrifice 2 permanents, and even if you kill it after its declared attack and Annihilator's on the stack, you still sacrifice 2 permanents. So usually if you're going to deal with it, might as well just deal with it during your turn versus accidentally misclicking and having to sacrifice 2 extra permanents. It's an amazing card. It's an 8/8, it costs 8. It doesn't matter that it can't block. Most of the time you don't want to block, even if they can trade with it. They sacrifice 4 or 5 permanents to kill it, and you're just like, you're the control player. 5 for 1s, it's like playing a Supreme Verdict in Pauper. It's gross. Okay, so now we're going to go to the sideboard. We have Dispels, Gigadrowse, Echoing Truth, Ngate, another Ghostly Flicker just for value, and value and land destruction matchups. We have also a special card in Leave No Trace. Whenever I first made the deck, I assumed that Leave No Trace, or not Leave No Trace, I assumed that Auras was going to be the worst matchup, and after playing against Auras a few times, I realized that it's brutal. I didn't have Curfews in the deck. I was simply just playing 4 Leave No Traces with 2 Azorious Charms and a Lion's Den, or Ancient Den, whatever that card's called, the white artifact land Ancient Den in the main, and it wasn't doing very well in the mono red burn matchups. It was messing up my land base, and it was giving them additional targets for Smash to Smithereens. And they're just not good cards to have. If I could, I would try to actually fit an Islands or two in the side, just so I could take out the 3 of the Synods in the mono red matchup, and put in 2 Islands to at least have 21 lands in that game. So yeah, Hexproof was a really bad matchup. I think I fixed it with the 5 sideboard cards of Leave No Trace and Curfew. You can also bring in Echoing Truths for their auras, you can bring in Negates for their auras. It really depends on if you're on the play or the draw, and what you think they're going to have, and what cards you think are more back-breaking to you. Also depends on their sideboard tech. I haven't played a lot of post-sideboard matches currently against Hexproof, but whenever I started playing Leave No Traces, you hit their Armadillo Cloak and blow up all their auras, and they have a bunch of 1/1s that do nothing against an 8/8. And it is hilarious, it is awesome, it is probably the best feeling in the world. It's like playing land destruction. It was like Innistrad Return to Ravnica Standard when you're playing Junkrites before Jund became the monster of the format with slaughter games. It was disgusting. For the mono red burn matchup, that is really rough. I usually side in the 4 Dispels, or not 4 Dispels, that's the reason why I want to play 4 Dispels. I'm siding in 2 Dispels, 2 Gigadrowse, and anywhere from 2 to 3 Negates, depending on if I'm on the play or the draw. If I'm on the draw, I side in the Negates over the Condescends, and I usually side out 1 or 2 Crushers, because once you get past a few of the burn spells, you can just start beating them with your 2/2s, but you can also side out the 2/2s to make their Searing Bloods bad, and if you side in, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, yeah, you could side in literally Ghostly Flicker, 3 Negates, 2 Gigadrowse, 2 Dispels, side out all your 2/2s and make their Searing Blood, Searing something, Searing Earth, their 3 damage landfall card and turn it into a do-nothing. But I just found that Muldrifter's too good to side out, and assembling Tron is huge if you have Condescends. Game 1 is really rough regardless, but if you get into the late game and you get a Gigadrowse 2 or 3 of their lands, because they usually only play 2 or 3 lands, it's pretty backbreaking because it's like playing a Time Walk. Even though it costs 3 blue and you think that'd be really hard with the land base, it's usually like turn 4 that you could do it if you're actually going for just the heavy blue, because you can get the Prophetic Prisms, you can Expedition Map for islands, you don't have to assemble Tron very fast, you just want to have that inevitability in this matchup. I also have Echoing Truths because I played against a weird rogue list, and I just found out that having no answers to random permanents, or random non-land permanents that don't have hexproof, is just bad to lose to, and it just feels terrible. I lost to some deck that's playing like 4 Triplicate Spirits, 4 Raise the Alarms, 4 Kadoltha Rebirths, stuff like that, and they have just tons of tokens, and they can kill you with Rites of Initiation. I posted the video of that on YouTube actually, and just having the 2 in there, it just bounces Obulites and stuff like that in the mono black matchup. If they have multiple dudes, even if they're like multiple Liliana Specters, never Chittering Rats because that card sucks. If they have multiple Specters, you can just bounce all of them with a Gary on the stack, but I usually don't side in any bounce spells against black. It's just, it has so much utility that it's hard to not have. The Negates are really good in pretty much every matchup to an extent. I haven't found a need to bring them in against like a Delver deck, because some of their counterspells are creature based, and I'd rather just have like Curfews and Echoing Truths in that matchup where I can like bounce an Ninjutsu guy or bounce an Insectile Aberration. The gates are just great. And then the Ghostly Flicker, I decided on this one card because I have the 2 in the main, and sometimes I feel like I need a 3rd. Mostly against like the Azorious Kitty Reality Acid decks that have a bunch of ways to like destroy your lands and permanents if you can't get rid of the Reality Acid on your creature or on any of the permanents that you control. So I don't have any enchantments. It literally hits every permanent that's in my deck. it hits all my artifacts, all my creatures, all my lands, in any combination of those, if I had artifact creatures or whatever. I mean, overall, it's a solid list. I'd recommend you trying to get it. I will post a list of the cards in the description below, and just you could subscribe, like, comment on my videos. Let me know what type of content you guys want to see, because it'd be really nice to actually hear more from my community and hear more from my viewers, or just any viewers in particular. Thank you guys, and thanks for watching.